Hello and welcome to Bookkeeping 101 Part 1. In this screencast, we'll be learning about financial types and financial accounts, contributions, pledges, and pledge contributions. The first thing we're going to do is access the back office of JManage. To do that, click on the top left-hand corner link that says JManage. The next thing we're going to talk about are financial types. Financial types are general ledger accounts. To access those, you click Administer, Civic Contribute, Financial Types. Here we see a list of the available financial types. Every system comes deployed with a few default financial types. If you've had a financial import, you will see here many familiar names of general ledger accounts that came over from your previous system. You will eventually need to create new financial types. To do so, you click Add Financial Type, give the financial type a name, include an optional description, toggle whether or not the financial type is tax deductible, and you'll note a reserved toggle box. If you toggle this box and click Save, it will render this financial type ineditable. While not frequent, you will on occasion need to edit financial types, which is why we do not recommend toggling the reserved toggle box. Click Save, and the system will show us that the financial type has been saved and a few financial accounts have been associated with it. To view the financial accounts associated with the financial type that we just created, we click on Accounts, and we can click out of that message screen. And here we see what has been created. 4 accounts, one of them being an income account of the same name as the financial type we just created. There's also an accounts receivable, expense, and cost of sales account. Now, this individual donation financial account serves a different purpose, which I'll explain in a minute. And there's also an account code, which is not there, which I will also explain in a minute. First, I'd like to show you how you can map several financial types to the same financial account. You would click on Edit, and then you would select whatever financial account you desire. A good example of this would be multiple financial types for member dues. You may have a financial type for family dues, another for single dues, and yet another for reduced dues. All of this information is viewable in detail in your JManage database. However, you may not be interested in such fine detail in your general ledger software. We're going to cancel out of this. So just to recap, financial accounts essentially direct the debits and credits of the financial information that you will eventually transfer to your general ledger software. Now to circle back to the accounting code. In order to add an accounting code, we scroll up and click on the shortcut that we have to the financial accounts administration screen. We scroll to find the financial account that was just created for our financial type. Click on the pencil icon and start typing in an accounting code. It's completely optional, but once we are done typing, we click on the check mark and we now have an accounting code. If we scroll back up, we have a shortcut back to the financial types administration screen. And if we scroll to look at the financial accounts associated with the individual donation financial type, we will now see that financial account with the accounting code. We're going to close out of this window, and we're going to head back to our JManage dashboard by clicking the link at the top left-hand corner. So now that we know how to manage our financial types and financial accounts, we can use them to record transactions. There are 3 different ways by which to record a contribution. You can use the quick lookup box, typing in the contact's last name first, click on the contact name to access the contact record, click on the Financial Summary tab, and then click New Contribution. As you can see by this first method, we come up with a new contribution form that already has the contact's name listed. There are two other methods by which to record a contribution. One is using Finances, New Contribution, or using the Create New button, clicking on Contribution. Note how the Create New button has two options. The first is for cash check contributions and the other one is for credit card contributions. We're going to start with cash check contributions. Note how the difference between these two methods, these last two methods and the first, is that we need to select the contact name in the form. We could also create a new individual, should we so need to. We select the financial type, enter an amount, and then we can add something in the source field. The source field is going to be visible almost anywhere in the system, as well as on statements being sent to donors. So you're going to want to keep whatever you write in there short and generic. The status of the contribution will default to completed, and then we have what's called a soft credit. Soft credits are used to track who solicited funds. For example, if you have a telethon fundraiser going and you've got volunteers calling different donors soliciting donations, you would want to credit them with whatever donations they bring in. You start typing in the contact's last name and you get a short list. The system defaults to the total amount of the contribution, and you would select the type of soft credit, in this case, solicited. Next we go on to the payment details. The system defaults to the date and time you are entering the contribution, but that can be changed if you need to record something retroactively. The default payment method is check, but you can also change that according to your needs. There is a field to enter the check number, and there's also the option to send an email receipt if there is an email on file. Since this email isn't going to go anywhere, I'm just going to untoggle the checkbox. And there is a section called Payment Processor Info. This really only comes into play if you're using credit cards and is automatically filled out by the system. So when you're recording cash check contributions, you can ignore that. In the Extra Contribution Info section, we come to a field called Third Party Payer. This is different from the soft credit where you had a contact solicit funds on behalf of the organization. The third-party payer is the person who pays for something that benefits someone else. Good examples of third-party payments are grandparents paying for their grandchildren's tuition or parents paying for their adult children's membership. You'll want to record the contributions on either the grandchildren or the children's records. However, by indicating the name of the third-party payer, the system will know to allocate any tax-deductible benefit to that third-party payer. Next, we have the Tribute Info section. You'll want to mark whether a contribution is a tribute or not to facilitate searching when it comes time for creating thank you letters. Next, you can indicate what type of tribute this is, select the tribute prefix, enter the tribute first name, last name, and a tribute note of your choosing. This tribute information is not creating a new contact record. It is strictly for informational purposes and will be used when creating your thank you letters. You can insert tokens to pull that information. Next, we have a set of tribute notification fields. The tribute notification could be different from the tribute honoree. For example, if someone is making a donation on behalf of somebody's daughter in honor of her wedding, they'll want to notify the parents that this donation was made. So in the tribute notification fields, you would enter the name of the parent and the address info to whom this notification should be sent. Last but not least, we have the additional details section. There are a few fields here that we'll review a little later on in the video, But I did want to point out that this notes field is meant for the sole use of the back office. So if you have anything sensitive to record about a given contribution, this is where you'll want to do it. We click to save the contribution, and we're returned to the Contributions tab where we see this contribution listed. We can click on the black arrow to see a little more detail about the contribution. And if we click on the Financial Summary tab, we will see some details about the contribution listed there as well. So that's just a straight up contribution. Now I'm going to show you how to record a contribution against the pledge. First, we have to create a new pledge. We do this by clicking the New Pledge button from the Financial Summary tab of the contact record. We enter the total amount. The system automatically divides that total amount by the number of installments, which defaults to 12. You can change that information. The pledge made date and payment start dates default to the current system date and time. We select the financial type. After clicking Save, we return to the Pledge tab of the contact record, where we will see the details of the pledge listed. We can click on the black arrow to see the pledge payment schedule that was established. And we can click on the Financial Summary tab to see pledge details there as well. The Financial Summary tab indicates $100 due. This information is calculated by the pledge. According to the system, of the $1,200 that was charged in the pledge, $100 of that is due as of the current system date and time. Now it's from the Financial Summary tab where you're going to want to record any payments or adjustments against pledges. To record a payment or an adjustment, we click the button under the pledge. The expected payment amount is already listed for us. We enter the check number, and that's pretty much it. We can just click Save. And we are returned to the Pledge tab where we can see the details of the pledge. We can click on the black arrow to see that that $100 contribution was recorded against the first expected installment. And we can click on the Financial Summary tab to see that there is no longer a balance due by the current system date, and $100 has been received. The balance on the pledge is $1,100. Now, it's important to note, unless a contribution is recorded against the pledge, regardless of the financial type, it will not reduce the balance on the pledge. This brings us to the end of Bookkeeping 101 Part 1. We covered financial types and financial accounts, contributions, pledges, and pledge contributions. In Bookkeeping 101 Part 2, we will cover pledge adjustments, partially deductible contributions, credit card contributions, and pay balances transactions. Thanks for watching.